I really, really hate that I had to restart it. I don't know what's going on, man. I'm pretty frustrated. I won't lie. I'm pretty frustrated with the internet, man. That's why I've been enjoying doing IRL lately. Hi. I was literally waiting here and it just wasn't turning it back on. So I'm sorry. At least notifications are going out right now. Oh my god. That's so stinky, man. I literally was just waiting here and it was going on and off. That's like one of the most frustrating things. It just, I don't know what it is, man. It completely turns off when it wants to. Hi, Marcus. Hi, Lemon. Hi, Steve. Hi, Rico. Hi, redo the chat. No, Twisted. Hi. Hello. Oh my god, everybody's redeeming their chicken feet now. Hi, Dove. Hi, Clown. Hi, Winter. Oh my god, notifications are going off. Hi, Super Positive. Hi, Twisted. Hi, Agent Dodd. Hi, Phantom. Hi, Mad Dog. Hi, Dove. Hi, Crown. Hi, JC Miles. Hi, Steve. Hello, Coffee and Music. Hi, Prime. Hi, Dragon. Hi, Lemon. Hi, Party. Hi, Ovi. Hi, Brando. Hi, Call Me Jelly Beans. Nice to see you guys. Hello, Jack. Nice to see you back. I am so incredibly sorry, but I paused it. Literally, when the internet went out, I paused it right at that spot. So this is where we're at. He jumped up on a train after I freaking bazookaed the freaking giant dude. But anybody that's coming in, you guys got perfect timing because I'm about to finish Resident Evil 2. So if you happen to not be watching the last of the series, the whole series, that is perfectly fine. And maybe you have already finished the series.
Twisted_Kippy sent, game was like. Back to the prologue with you.
I am going to cry and crash out, man. But we are literally, I feel as though we're about to finish Resident Evil 4. I feel like we're literally about to. So, huge. Okay, well, it's glad to be back. Ronnie, thank you so much for 250 biddies. So, everybody coming in, hi. Hi. I wanted to cry. I literally wanted to cry. I was sitting here and I was like, no. No, don't tell me my VODs are going to be separated. Just tears. Well, her reaction speed is fine. Yeah, it is. Well, anybody that's coming in, I appreciate everybody that was popping in again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what are we breaking that connection there? And that's so stinky, man. I think it's yes, it is Spectrum, but we have the Starlink. Either way, our internet kind of stinky, but it usually just happens around the later in the night, you know. New stream timer, so I'm guessing it'll be a different yeah, it will. Cycling with Evan, thank you so much for the 11 monthly sub. I appreciate it. Toon, hello. Hi, Toon Slayer. No, you better not. Hold on. Let me pause it because my computer was literally about to turn off. Toon Slayer, nice to see you. Everybody that's coming in, welcome back. My internet was about to crap out, but good news. We're about to finish Resident Evil 2. So that means tomorrow we'll be playing Resident Evil 4. Huge Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. What's good? Hi, Heavy
Toon
Hammer.
Slayer 76 cent. Manda Huo, hi, how are you, girl? 6'7".
So good. So good. Honestly, feeling really good. Considering I'm about to finish the game, I am ecstatic. I'm ecstatic right now. So, anybody that's coming in, hey, welcome back. We're gonna jump right back in. Are you downloaded Resident Evil 4? Maybe that made it crash. No, I'm uploading. I'm actually uploading my YouTube video. It's at 67%. But I'm planning on downloading it when before I stream tomorrow, or even yesterday. Have you tried Dispatch? Yes. Since you're on YouTube, I have a few of my VODs. If you go over to my live channel section, you can actually see my gameplay of Dispatch. I actually just finished it not too long ago. 6-7. Yeah, I'm about to finish my first horror game. Other than Poppy Playtime, I think. But I don't think that counts, right? We did, Silver. We did.
I actually miss her.
Hold off on TTS for a second.
Leon?
Hey. We made it.
Just like I said we would.
No, you're good. I was just waiting for the end of the game. Oh my god. Now you can play TTS. Man, she did absolutely nothing. Where did the kid come from? Literally was abrupt. But that's huge. That's huge. Okay, so we know his story. I'm live again, Screaming Ninjas. My computer completely crashed, or the internet completely crashed. Guys, we finished Leon's side. No, we're gonna be jumping into Resident Evil 4. I'm trying to minimize, or trying to use as much time as possible.
Slayer 76 cent. That's so cool. You hair looks cool. Did you paint with purple? It looks pretty. You woo.
Thank you. I did paint it purple. I dyed it purple.
Ronnie Max 7 cent. I asked my wife when the gym that she goes to closes. She told me 10 p.m. on a weekday. I answered, okay, and what about a strong day?
My final stats? There's stats in this game? Oh my god. I'm not looking forward to it. Can I just skip? Yeah, let's just skip it. $12-hour. I gotta see? At least C's get degrees. No, I understand. I gotta play Claire to get the full story. But I'm trying to understand Leon's. I think, honestly, I might just watch her story play. Someone explain Claire's story. Because the whole goal is this, guys. I have to fly to Las Vegas shortly. I'm trying to at least get most amount of the stories as possible. Resident Evil 4 is what I've been recommended to play next to understand more of the story for Leon. So I wish I can. I really wish I had the time. But I don't. I don't have the time. So that's why we're going to jump into Resident Evil 4, you know? It's a fun game, and it's an open world.
Slayer 76 cent. Forehead stats are on point.
Oh my god. Oh, you're talking about Sonic Frontiers? If you haven't played it. Oh, right now I'm playing Resident Evil until Requiem that comes out on the 27th. I could tell when someone is lying just looking at them. Oh my god. I can't keep up with TTS!
I can tell when someone is lying just by looking at them. I can also tell when they are standing as well.
Bye. That's pretty epic. Alright. Alright. I think what I want to do is do like a highlight of my gameplay of Resident Evil. As like a whole video, just for like funny moments of like, or my takes on certain parts of the show or you know. Now, what extras do they give you now?
Resident Evil.
A scream reel? Honestly, that would be funny. Extra modes? Extra modes contain spoilers of the main story. No
Mr.
time
King
to
Awesome
mourn.
Eat 123 cent. Did you know Bath and Body Works came out a second Disney Princesses collection? This time they have Snow White, Rapunzel, Aurora and Milan are new. It releases it tomorrow, gonna go get it tomorrow. Hopefully it not sold out.
Good luck. That is so sad. But as much as I want to play more, chat, as much as I do, trust. Oh, whoops. No. 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 No! 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 I feel pretty satisfied. I feel like I understand his story. Obviously, it's not like the full story.
On Valentine's Day, my wife seductively patted the couch and said, "How about you get comfortable and we wrap the night up with a happy ending?" I said, "Absolutely." So I plopped down next to her and put on The Princess Bride.
Oh my god. Are you a Sonic fan? I am. I play Sonic Racers. Just right now, I'm doing a Resident Evil marathon until Resident Evil 9 comes out, and then I'll be playing other games. The title and game reset dispatch. The title and game reset to dispatch. You guys let me play. It was a great play. Oh, well, I'm glad you guys thought it was fun. I will be continuing my Resident Evil marathon tomorrow, though. We'll be playing Resident Evil 4. And then shortly during that stream, we're going to go to the gym. We're going to do IRLing, and we're going to be hanging out with Sunny. Honestly, I don't know if I'll stream it, to be honest, just for the sake of like how it's just going to send out the funnel. So be sure to check out Sunny's stream tomorrow. That's a good rest, yes. When stream crashed, the YouTube switched over to dispatch. Did it really? Well, I'm not doing dispatch. I'm not doing dispatch. I'm not doing dispatch. That's frustrating. I honestly, I'm literally so frustrated right now. I'm literally so frustrated with our crappy internet, but it is what it is. It's something out of our control. It's out of the whole thing's control. So I literally don't have time. I literally don't have time. I literally don't have time. Me when I talk to y'all. No, y'all when I talk to you. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. I know. I'm just kidding. Because I know you guys just literally came in. I'm sorry about the reset. But if you guys came in just now, I'm not playing Resident 3. Because people told me. I heard that it's just better for the story, to prep for the story. But I also heard that Resident Evil 3 is a good way for me to prep for Resident Evil 9 or replaying Resident Evil 9. But I'm really happy that I got to play this game. So I'm happy. They showed some of, yeah, they did. Lorify of the other character time. Yeah, let's do that. Let's watch her play. Let's watch her story to understand her. So we can kind of just skim past it and we can just play Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. You know? Yanar, let me switch over real quick. Yippee! Oh my god, I'm dropping stuff. All right. Let's watch Claire's story in Resident Evil 2. Shut up. Guess who's also was playing Resident Evil? Ty was playing Resident Evil. I just saw her first gameplay series. Huge. I subbed to her YouTube channel. Okay. Resident Evil 2 Claire. Claire's story. It's 4 hours. Holy crap. Summary. Summary. Do her summary. The story of Resident Evil 2. This is a 20-minute video. Let's do that.
With Resident Evil.
Let's do it. All right.
Evil 4 remake on the near horizon, it felt right for us to break down the story of Resident Evil 2. If you're
Wait. Pause. Huge.
curious at all about the story of Resident Evil 1, we have a story explained on the channel right now, so be sure to check that out and make your way back here.
Do we need
I
that?
also did some research on Reddit and some forums, since Resident Evil 2 has two choices on which character to play with an A story and then with a B story. The majority of
Okay.
people seem to believe that Leon A makes more sense in the greater scope of the story, so that is what we're going to be doing. Leon A, Claire B. Alright, let's break down the story.
All right.
We open up on this absolute beauty of a burger as the truck driver starts chowing down. We hear on the radio about an incident
Burger.
a man had when he was walking home after a night out. He says that she came towards him, staggering, so he assumed that she was drunk. But when she got close, he realized that her face was rotting. She was like a walking corpse. As he begins to fix the radio, a woman is standing on the road and the truck driver hits her. He goes to check on her but realizes that she's pretty damn dead. Well, half true anyway. We
She's
see
right
our protagonist for
behind
the very
me!
first time. Leon.
Leon!
He's a rookie police officer on his way to his very first day on the job. He pulls over to a gas station to get some gas, and you can quickly start to piece together that something strange is going on at this gas station, and it's not the gas prices. Leon goes to investigate, and the lack of lights and blood on the floor is a dead giveaway. We see a police officer attempting to hold an individual, but it's pretty clear that this is a zombie, my
20
guy.
years younger. He's
Leon
so
gets the hell out
young,
of there
Josh.
when
He's
a
so
woman shows
young.
up. Leon saves her, and after the entire horde
Education
of zombies
time.
begins
Yes,
to approach,
education
they
time.
hijack the police vehicle and decide
We
to
all
flee the
remember
scene.
this part.
Both are confused by what is happening, but Leon is hopeful that they will be able to get some answers at the police station.
Doesn't get a
since he
promotion,
was on
nope.
his way there.
Because they're all
We learn the
dead.
woman's name is Claire, and conveniently, she was also on her way to the police station to look for
Her
her
brother is in
We hear over
a different country,
loudspeaker as
though.
Leon and Claire enter Raccoon City that the Raccoon Police Department is offering shelter to people and families fleeing from the outbreak that has taken a hold of the city. They reach a roadblock, and we see that some of the town zombies are enjoying some of the local cuisine on the footpath. The car quickly becomes surrounded as the truck driver from earlier is fastly approaching while sporting a brand new neck wound. The crash is pretty damn severe, and the resulting crash splits Leon and Claire as they flee the vehicle. They both agree to meet at the station as we take control of Leon. We make our way over to the
Okay,
Raccoon
so this
Police
is Leon's
Department
story.
and get a look at the security cameras. A police officer is clearing
nice
the hallways and mentions that
summary,
he has found a
right?
way out and proceeds to ask for reinforcements in the east hallway.
I
Leon
genuinely
is
can't
one
believe I did finish the
brave
story,
mofo,
though.
man, because there is no way in hell
Huge
I am
for me.
crawling under that door when the other side looks like that. We hear
Yeah.
the police officer banging on the other side
For
of the
anyone
metal
under
sheet
30,
door, so we
I
go
think
to
the
help
most
him.
watched
On a
refresher
scale
course
of bad ways
on
to
modern
die, this is
refresher
definitely
course
up
on
there.
modern
But
Resident Evil remakes.
thankfully
Okay,
he
bet.
left
I'll
us
check
his
that
journal
out.
of drawings so we can help, solve some puzzles. We have a close call crawling
I probably
back
might
into
watch
the
the
main
recap,
foyer,
depending
but
on my
are thankfully
time.
saved by this police officer called Marvin. He is sporting a pretty bad wound on his stomach and looks to be worse for wear. Leon goes and changes into his police uniform for extra protection as Marvin mentions that
We're
he isn't
spark
sure what
noting the
started
games,
this,
okay,
but
guys?
to be careful at all time. Leon mentions that he was meant to start a week ago but was called and told to stay away. Marvin is just glad that he's here now, and it turns out that the booklet contains some solutions to finding a secret exit out of the police station. Leon mentions that this is great. We could get Marvin some help, but he ultimately declines, telling Leon that if he sees a zombie, uniform or not, do not hesitate, otherwise he could end up just like him. We make our way through the western side of the building, kicking ass and taking names, before returning to Marvin, who shows up some CCTV
This guy's really
footage from
good.
outside the police station. Turns out it's Claire, and she is waiting at the gate at the back entrance to the station. We make our way there, and as we're about to reach the staircase, a whole helicopter crashes into the police station,
Helicopter.
completely barricading the
Helicopter.
hallway.
Helicopter.
Thankfully, we don't need that hallway to reach Claire, and we just go and speak to her.
For real?
They catch up about their current situation, but unfortunately, Leon forgot to get the gate key before coming here and can't actually let Claire in. The helicopter explodes, and the zombies consider that to be the dinner bell, as Claire needs to flee. We solve a bunch of puzzles that don't really mean a lot to the overall story, but after
It
getting
doesn't.
some medallions from these statues, we can finally open up the exit that the police officer
It literally
described in
is
his
a
booklet.
prologue.
Marvin is doing
Literally is
worse
the
and
prologue.
worse as time goes by, and Leon attempts to help him to the hospital. He actually pulls a gun out and tells Leon to leave him behind, and that they cannot allow this to continue
What's your
spreading.
recap of Resident Evil
We
Outbreak
head
for
down
Alyssa
and
Ashcroft?
eventually
Yes, I
find
heard about that
ourselves with
too.
this malformed gentleman.
Hi,
Leon is
Scarhead.
completely freaking confused at
Now
what's
back to the
happening,
prologue.
but
No!
manages to fight back after he smashed through the floor. We cause this guy to fall down a shaft as Leon can finally catch a breather. Leon reaches the internal car park but realizes that the door is locked without a keycard. Also, zombie
Doggies.
poppers. And not the
Doggies.
nice kind either. We get some help from a woman in a trench coat who shows us an FBI badge. Leon asks her what is happening here since she's FBI and all, and she tells us that it's just classified information and proceeds to leave. We head into the area of the cells and find a man smoking a cigarette in the cells. He is surprised to see a human being and asks if Chief Irons sent us. Leon asks if Irons is still alive, and he says that he hopes he's somebody's dinner by now since Irons is the one that locked him up there. Leon mentions that he must have had a good reason for it when the prisoner says that he was going to blow the whistle on Irons, suggesting that he had something on him. We hear a sound coming from down the hallway, and the prisoner pleads with us to release him, and in return he will give us
So
a
they don't
keycard
even
to
talk
unlock the
about.
parking garage.
Oh wait, just kidding.
Leon declines and says that he has to speak to the chief before releasing him. He gets mad and a goddamn hand smashes through the brick wall from behind him. It proceeds to
Jesus.
ruin this dude's day really badly. The FBI agent returns and takes
I
a
could
look
do
at the
that
corpse of the
too.
prisoner. She mentions that his name was Ben and that he was an informant for the FBI. She was using the information he gave her
She's
for an
19.
investigation.
Oh.
She tells Leon to find a way out of the station and tells him that her name is Ada as she leaves. We require the cell keys in order to open the cell that would allow us to grab
me.
the key card.
He's playing like
so
me.
Leon backtracks into the station. We arrive back at the helicopter when we have a very unfriendly run-in with a man in a black trench coat that lifts the helicopter with one hand. This is Mr. X, by the way. He essentially will chase Leon relentlessly throughout the entire police station and generally just be an absolute pest. More on
Yeah.
him later. We get the keys
Yeah.
after a while of searching and make our way back to the cell and retrieve the key card from Ben.
Yep.
However, Leon finds a recorder in his pocket. When he takes a listen, we hear that Ben is speaking
Takes
about
a
rumors
listen.
of an orphanage and that Umbrella is a benefactor of that orphanage. We find out that
It's
the
real-
person he is speaking to is named Annette and tells her that
Kratos
they want to know
chasing
about
me.
the G-Virus. This catches Annette off guard and she asks how Ben knows about the G-Virus. He goes on to mention a giant sinkhole in the city that goes directly to Annette's underground laboratory. Annette tells him that the interview is now over as the recording ends. Leon attempts to leave
So
as
he does
Mr.
tell
X
the
decides
story.
to use him as a dumbbell. Thankfully, the FBI agent Ada crashes a SWAT van into him
Oh,
and saves
okay. He's
Leon.
gonna talk about the
We make a
story.
swift escape as Leon gives her the recording to listen to. After listening to it, she says that it's not what she needed. Leon asks exactly what it is that she needs, and Ada mentions that she is trying to gather as much information as possible on the people responsible for this mess. We enter a nearby gun store since it's the only way to get to the other side of the block. A man stops and threatens Leon and Ada, but they quickly find out that his daughter has been bit and is slowly turning. Ada wants to kill the girl before she turns, but the father mentions that he will handle it. Leon tells Ada that he needs to find out who is responsible for the bloodshed, and Ada lets him know that her mission is to take down Umbrella Corporation's entire operation, and that Leon
I was
can
prepping
help,
for
but
it.
there is a good chance that they won't make
Progressive,
it
thank
out
you so
alive.
much for
Leon
the
says that he will
13
do whatever it
months.
takes to
How are
save
you?
the city and agrees to help even with the risks that it poses. As we
You
continue
know
throughout the
that
city, she
the
mentions
remakes
that
change
Umbrella
Ada's
Corporation is a
appears,
pharmaceutical
where OG
company
looks
that
too
is
sexy
secretly
for them.
making bioweapons.
But she's hot.
And that they possess a virus that
I'm
can
tired
turn people
too.
into
I'm tired too.
indestructible
I just finished
monsters.
Resident Evil 2. At least
Ada's
Leon's
main
story.
suspect is Annette Birkin, the person at Umbrella that is responsible for unleashing the virus. And the sewers are likely the best way to reach her laboratory. Leon mentions that the sewer system is controlled and operated by the city.
No,
So
I
how
kind
would
of
a
got
secret
that,
facility
Ronnie.
operate without
I
the
kinda got
authorities
the-
finding out about it?
They
Ada
close the
mentions
door
that Umbrella
and you hear a
has secretly
pew.
run Raccoon City for years. Leon goes on to
It's
fall into
sad.
the sewer system when we get
Look
a
at the
glimpse
flowers,
of this big
honey.
old boy. Some Indiana Jones level escaping
Literally.
later, and we managed to blow it into pieces. We managed to find Annette as Ada tells her to hand over the G-Virus. She starts shooting
Apparently
back
they
as
made the
Leon
woman
takes
less
a bullet
sexy.
in order to save Ada. Leon falls unconscious as
But she's
Ada
hot.
patches
What do you
up
mean
his
less
wound
sexy?
and
She
gets into
looks
a
great.
bright red dress and heels for some reason.
That's her
I'm
outfit.
not entirely convinced that this is the best attire for a zombie apocalypse.
It's a
but
it's
good taste
tactical.
lasts forever, I guess. She is speaking to
Tactical.
somebody on the radio and mentions that she is on the tail of Annette, and that if the G-Virus is not on her, then it must be in the nest. We now swap our perspective to Ada. As we manage to chase down Annette, Ada asks if she killed her husband in order to get credit for the G-Virus, as Annette attempts to turn her into a pancake. The resulting carnage causes Ada to fall and get her leg impaled in the process.
Ouchie.
We now head back to Leon, who is still recovering from his gunshot wound, and
Literally woke
he
up
gets
from a nap.
himself to the control room where
It's
he finds
tactical,
Ada unconscious
exactly.
down below him. We can also find a recording
Her
of a person
outfit
named
is no
Kirkpatrick
longer. It's not
who
tactical.
is pleading for the creature
But
that
it
Leon
is.
fought before to not kill him, and then
Short
proceeds
dress, she has
goes on
mobility.
to kill him and the surrounding
Heels
soldiers.
can be used as a
The same
weapon.
creature appears again as Leon is now closer to Ada. We managed to send him on his second ride down the shaft and continue on our way. Once Leon reaches Ada,
so
he
it was the
manages
same
to
creature.
remove the
Okay, I
metal bar
see.
from her leg, and she mentions that the situation is much worse than she suspected. She tells Leon that
You
they
know,
need to get
honestly,
the nest,
chat.
and
I'll be
asks
real.
once again-
I think after playing it, I think I may possibly, maybe just a little bit, maybe just a little bit. I may have possibly overreacted a few times. I think I may have overreacted just a few. Just a few. After finishing the game, I'm just like, oh, wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad.
again if Leon is up to the task.
No
He
sleeves.
agrees.
Gives her full range of
Using a
motion.
wristband that
Exactly.
Ada apparently borrowed, we managed to get to the tram system and get it working. Leon tells
To
Ada
what?
that he
To
can't wait for the FBI
everything.
to raid Umbrella headquarters
Do everything.
and find some justice for what they did. Ada reminds him that they are not there in any official capacity.
Oh, I
and that
played
once she obtains
Biohazard.
The G-Virus,
That one was
she
scary.
is on her own once again. She tells Leon that if he can secure the G-Virus, she can make sure that what happened at Raccoon City would never happen again. But due to her leg injury, she is too slow to secure it herself. Leon is
Lame.
concerned about leaving her, and they briefly share a kiss. The tram finally arrives at Nest and they part ways. Throughout the area, we can find multiple test sites that
Oh,
Umbrella has
nice.
been using to
Nice
conduct experiments.
flamethrower.
We managed
That's
to find
cool.
another recording showing a scientist of a
That's the
soldier's
one thing I
body
didn't
count.
get right. I didn't get the
soldiers address
flamethrower.
him as Dr. Birkin. This is Annette's husband. They tell him to join them quietly, and he refuses to hand over his life's work. He tries to pull a gun and gets shot multiple times for it. The soldier is mad as their orders were actually to bring him in alive. They take the samples of the G-Virus and leave. Leon continues into the facility as the creature arrives for the third time.
I'll be out of town,
Annette
Dad.
appears and says that she will be the one to deal with it. She calls the creature William and apologizes before shooting him again. She says that this entire mess is Umbrella's fault, which confuses Leon as he points out that she is Umbrella, and
Yeah, what do
asks
we-
if he is to believe that she had nothing to do with this. Annette admits that she did, but they never meant for it to happen like this. We get a flashback of Dr. Birkin after he was shot. He injects himself with the G-Virus as Annette arrives and asks him what he's done. She calls him William, revealing that the creature that we sent on multiple journeys down shafts is actually her husband, William Birkin.
Yeah,
we see that
now
the creature is not
he's
dead,
dead.
and it grabs Annette before injuring her severely. We have a good old-fashioned boss fight with Leon as we get
Yeah.
the best of him. We arrive back at Annette, and she tells Leon to destroy the G-Virus sample. He declines since the sample is evidence for the FBI, and Annette
Ada
tells
reminded
him not
Leon
to trust
he
Ada,
wasn't an official
that
capacity.
she actually isn't an FBI agent. Instead, she's a mercenary. That Ada plans to sell the virus to the highest bidder. She says it can't get into the wrong hands before ultimately dying. A voice over the intercom mentions that the self-destruct sequence has now been initiated and Leon begins to flee the facility. We come across Ada again as Leon asks if she is an FBI agent. Ada pulls a gun on Leon after realizing that her cover's now been blown. Leon gives her the same treatment and asks if he was just a pawn to her. They come to a stalemate as neither person is willing to shoot the other. Then, out of nowhere, Ada gets shot in the shoulder by Annette before the platform begins to crumble. Leon saves Ada from falling to her death, but drops the G-virus sample in the process.
And then
Annette
drops
dies
her.
again after finally stopping anyone from being able to get the sample.
She dies again.
Look, she tricked me last time, but I think she's dead this time around, okay? Ada says goodbye to Leon and allows herself to fall. Leon gets to the main control room and finds Claire on a television CCTV. He tells her to get out immediately, and she tells him that she knows a way out before the camera system begins to fail. As Leon nears the exit, we get a gigantic hand on the face from Mr. X. A few nearby explosions can
He's awesome.
separate the two, but not for long, as a now shirtless Mr. X appears with
Roy
all of his
did!
shirtless powers. During the fight, a
Shirtless
container with a
powers.
missile launcher falls nearby. We get a small cut to a woman saying that we'll call it even. The line and silhouette suggest that this is Ada. How
What?
she managed to survive a 100-foot drop and still walk is outside my medical
Video
knowledge. But, hey,
games.
a few anti-tank missiles to the face turned out to be the weakness for Mr. X the entire
A
time.
few?
And
Oh,
Leon
it only
manages
took me
to
one-
get into the train before the facility completely explodes.
Oh
As
my
the
god.
train is
He benches
taking him to
5,000.
safety, he mentions
Me
to
too.
himself that he's surprised that he misses Ada before
They
managing to
heavily
find
censored
Claire
the
and a
Game of
young
Japan
girl in the
too.
next train carriage.
Who remembers Elliot's
That
death?
ends
What?
Leon's story. However, in Resident Evil 2, you can now play back through and see how Claire's story unfolded.
Okay, here
Now,
we go.
the majority of the story points are the same up
Hey!
until she leaves the police station. These events take place around 30 minutes after the same point for Leon.
Man, I should have played as
Also,
Noir
I
for
hope you
him.
enjoy the Michael Jackson get-up while we get this part underway. Claire finds a young girl hidden in a compartment, and the young girl tells Claire that there is something behind her. Turns out it's our old pal Dr. Birkin. We send him to his usual destination of a 300-foot drop as Claire assures the girl that it's now safe to come out. She asks if we could
He falls
help
twice?
find her mother. Claire agrees. We find out in some dialogue that Claire's parents are also both dead and that it's just her and her brother now. They reach the parking lot with the same
Hey!
old lock gate from before when a man with a gun approaches from the side. He calls the young girl Sherry and tells Claire to put her hands behind her head. He manages to kidnap Sherry as the gate closes before we can get out. After a long journey through the police station, we reach a ringing phone. When Claire picks it up, it's the man from the parking garage. He tells Claire to meet him at a location within the neighborhood. We see a scene of the kidnapper mentioning that he could have actually just let Sherry go if she didn't drop something. What that something is, we're not quite sure of just yet. Sherry manages to run into the side room within the orphanage before throwing a bottle of chemicals at the man.
Oh,
severely
shit.
burning and
Oh,
scarring the left
shit.
side of his face. As he manages to get hold of Sherry, he gets impaled by Dr. Birkin, which gives him a little slug to snack on. We now cut to 30 minutes earlier when Claire was on the phone with the kidnapper. He tells Claire to get the pendant or he will kill Sherry. Claire makes her way to the orphanage before running into the kidnapper, which, by the way, is Police Chief Brian Burns, the same guy that locked up Ben in the cell from Leon's story and is also the person that Ben had information on. Claire saves Sherry and they make their way to Nest. While down there, we find out that Sherry is the daughter of Annette and William Birkin, but loses her due to getting attacked in an elevator. Annette speaks to Sherry over the intercom and we learn that she is essentially a terrible mother to Sherry. When Claire manages to
You
reach
don't
Sherry,
say.
we find out
Em,
that she
thanks
has
for the
been
biddies.
parasited and requires a cure to be fixed. As
I
we head further into the facility,
light and let it shine. Just hold the night like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're firework. Come on, let your colors burn. Make them go, as she shoot across the sky. Oh, thank you so much for the tier 2 for 47 months. Hi. Hello. What an entrance that was. How are you? Dude, we just finished Resident Evil 2. At least Leon's story. So we're kind of getting the synopsis of Claire's story and trying to understand what the heck was going on. I'll back up just a little bit because, like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Dude, that was like a lot that just happened. Yeah. We finished Leon's story, but, like, I guess you could say, like, part A. So we're going to jump to Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. So we're trying to understand Claire's story so that we can just kind of jump right into it, you know? GG's. Thank you. I literally, oh my God, the freaking stream crashed literally on the final cutscene. I wanted to cry, but it was good. It was very, very good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. In the OG, the police chief was way more creepier. Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah. I kind of, yeah. Yeah, I know how much I hate. Damn, I thought I was early for once. I just got home. No, yeah, we started around 2. So 2 again tomorrow. And probably won't stream for too long because Sunny wants to do a gym stream. I possibly might raid into her. So that I can save time. I don't really want to deal with like the whole switching over because I will be multi-streaming to YouTube so that the video and VOD is already on there. Yeah. Hi, Serial. I sure do love that Twitch doesn't notify you when I know. They love me. They love me. They love me. It's so stinky though. So freaking stinky. So we're just watching Claire's part of her story to kind of understand her part, and then we could just kind of jump into Resident Evil 3. I might just like literally I'm just doing everything in my power to like kind of like get past, you know? Kind of get past like the saving time thing. I'm contemplating about watching the Resident Evil 3 synopsis. You like Claire's story? Dude, I'm like, what the fuck? Why did we play Leon's story? I'm just kidding. Leon's story had quite a long story. He had quite a long story.
Due to getting attacked in an elevator. Annette speaks to Sherry over the intercom, and we learn that she is essentially a terrible mother to Sherry.
Yeah.
When Claire manages to reach Sherry, we find out that she has been parasited and requires a cure to be fixed. As we head further into the facility to try and help Sherry, we find out that the amulet was given to her by her mother for her birthday. We leave her in the bed to rest while Claire heads out to create an antidote with the help of Annette. We manage to gather the required supplies and get the antidote back to Sherry before she completely turns, restoring her mostly back to her normal self. As the laboratory begins to explode, she takes Sherry and manages to get to safety on the train. We find Leon, just like in the previous ending, but this time in different outfits. But
so what do you mean different outfits?
Dr. Birkin attacks the train and Claire needs to deal with him one final time. The final scene shows...
What? Oh. Oh. Because it cuts off here. It cut off. Literally. Oh, I see. Because it cuts off here. That's why I was like, what? I thought he was dead.
Ending, but this time in different outfits. But don't worry about that. Dr. Birkin attacks the train and Claire needs to deal with him one final time. The final scene shows Leon, Claire, and Sherry walking out to some normalcy as Sherry asks if they are girlfriend and boyfriend. Leon corrects her that they only actually met the previous day. The game ends as the three characters swear to stick together and deal with any issues with the G-Virus in the future. Sherry mentions that Leon and Claire could adopt her, and that she always wanted a dog but her mother would never let her. And that ends the story of Resident Evil 2. However, we do have a few files to go over briefly that will fill in some of the story gaps. We can find a diary on Chris Redfield's desk within the police department that states that he flew to Umbrella's main headquarters.
It's very Fallout-ish, yeah.
After finding out that they are researching the G-Virus. He chooses to not tell Claire due to the safety risk that it would put her in. We can also find an investigation report that tells Chris about the police chief Irons receiving multiple bribes from Umbrella over the last 5 years.
Oh
he was also involved in a cover-up of the Mansion Lab case from Resident Evil 1. A diary from the chief also shows that he deliberately spread confusion among the police ranks to stop people from being able to escape what he describes as his city alive. He decides
what a dick!
To hunt down the police officers and civilians himself, and writes about multiple murders that he committed during those times.
What a dick!
Reveling in every detail. And that about wraps up the vital information from Resident Evil 2. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, write Mr. X so I can see how many of you got all this way. Thank you.
Mr. fucking X. Oh my god. I'm gonna write a various fan fiction of how rude he is. Oh yeah, please do. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that saves us a lot of time. That saves us quite a lot of time, to be honest. Lots of it. Let me lower the music. It saves us lots of time. Music's so loud in my ear. There we go. That saved us a lot of time. I'm actually writing a Resident Evil 8. Oh, really? That one is... Okay, that one is... Village. That one's Village. Chat, should I watch a synopsis of Resident Evil 3? Yeah, it saved me about 12 hours, yeah. Yes? Okay. You wouldn't, but we're jumping into 4 tomorrow. It's so good to play. How long? How long does Resident Evil 3 take to play? 6 to 7 hours, the remake, to complete the main story. Rush playthroughs can be completed in 4 or 5 hours. Do you think it'll take me 6 hours? Follows Jill. I remember. Oh, I did Completionist. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Just watch the recap. And it took me a while because of that. 3 days. See, that's what I'm thinking. It says 6 hours. I know it's going to take me 2 days to play it. Yeah. All right. So it kind of gets us transitioning into Resident Evil. Remake. Nemesis. Remake. So it gives us prepping. Oh. Why is it people saying Resident Evil 3 was bad? Why am I getting... Oh, hold on. Remake. Summary. I kind of like the guide that we just watched. This is 25 minutes.
Hey guys,
Resident Evil 6 was booty.
It's that time again.
Oh, is this guy? Okay, perfect. We can just watch his story. Okay, so it was Jill. I remember I caught Jill's letter in Resident Evil 2. Somewhere in there. So this could be good. Okay. Let's watch part 3 of Resident Evil 3. And then we'll jump into Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. Okay, this works out perfectly. It's sad in you. Resident Evil remake is bad. Oh, the remake was bad. They didn't adapt 3 well with the remake. Oh, okay. So obviously the original. I think, yeah, people will say originals are always going to be better. You know, the executions are going to be better. So I get that. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I'm so sorry for everybody that got hurt. As someone that hasn't played the original, I'm really not affected too much about it, but I'm sorry. I like 3, but the remake was not great. I see. Okay. Well, obviously the graphics would be nice, but yeah. How do you mess up the remake? Part 2 was missing stuff. I see. I'm so sorry. Oh, my heart goes out to you guys. All right, let's watch it.
It's that time again. Time to break down the story of Resident Evil 3. And when this gets released, we will only be a few days away from the release of Resident Evil 4, so keep your eyes peeled for that one next.
Okay.
Anyway, if you have not seen it, we have Resident Evil 1 and 2 story explained on the channel right now, so be sure to check them out and make your way back here. Alright, let's break down the story. We open up once again in Raccoon City, while getting multiple shots of news reports describing the ongoing pandemic and Umbrella Corporation doing their normal shady
It's
propaganda.
so normal.
However, we see
Use
a
real
surgery
people.
table with multiple doctors surrounding a patient. And might I add, this dude is jacked as hell. And he
Roided.
also has orange eyeballs. We get a glimpse of something being loaded onto a helicopter with the codename Nemesis. A
Oh,
little bit of a strange start here as we get a first-person view of a person waking up in an apartment. When we get to the bathroom sink, we can see that it's none other than Jill Valentine, and she is looking a lot worse for wear. She starts decaying in the mirror before collapsing, turning into a zombie before waking herself up. We see that Jill is only 3 days away from never having to see Raccoon City again. Also, if you don't remember who Jill Valentine is, she was the main protagonist in Resident Evil 1 and is a member
Okay.
of STARS with Chris Redfield. We rechecked the goods, and
Wow.
thankfully we're looking a lot less corpsey this time around. The phone begins to ring, and when we pick up, Brad
She's
tells Jill to
hot.
get out of her apartment right now. No time to explain. Then this big guy comes storming
Big
through
guy.
the goddamn wall.
Big
Jill
guy.
gets a bit of a
It's a big
beatdown
guy.
as she attempts to escape.
Hey,
This
Professor
thing
X!
crashes through floors and walls like they're made out of cardboard. It's actually quite impressive. After escaping through a burning building, Jill finally gets a breather, as we see people in Raccoon City panicking. Brad shows up and mentions that the creature is only targeting the 2 STARS members in the entire city. The carnage in Raccoon City is apparent straight away, as we realize that this is depicting the day that the outbreak began.
Oh,
technically,
she's also
Resident Evil
smoking
3
high, in
takes
case you
place
forgot,
before
yeah.
Resident Evil 2, but only by a few hours. The zombies manage to get to the gate and force Jill and Brad to take cover. Unfortunately, Brad gets bitten and he stays behind to buy time for Jill. A helicopter flies past,
Dude,
urging
she
to
looks
reach
great.
the rooftop of a nearby building for evacuation. We find this older gentleman and tell him to join us on the roof. However, he prefers the idea of locking himself inside the back end of a moving truck. We get to the
Okay.
rooftops and the helicopter
Alright.
gets obliterated by the creature. Jill
Okay.
drives a car into it and manages to push it off the building, but gets wrecked in the process. The creature gets up like it's nothing, and it begins to set into Jill that this has been a really crappy last 10 minutes. A guy shows up and hits the creature with a rocket
Hey!
launcher,
Who's
killing it.
that?
His name is Carlos, and he manages
Carlos.
to escort Jill down to the subway. We find out that he is from the UBCS, or the
Carlos
Umbrella
is
Biohazard
hot. I
Countermeasure
like his
Service.
hair.
This immediately sets off Jill, since she knows that Umbrella is behind this entire mess. Carlos is shocked by the outburst and says that he doesn't know anything about it. We reach the trains, which
Yeah, I
has
can-
been turned into a shelter by the UBCS,
Okay.
with the intention of using the railway as a means of evacuating civilians from
Who's
Raccoon
that,
City.
Snake?
We meet the UBC platoon leader, Mikhail Victor, and he
Mikhail
immediately
Victor.
recognizes Jill as a STARS member. He says that Raccoon City is completely isolated.
Okay, do I need a summary of what STARS is? What? I'm assuming that was talked about in Resident Evil 1? What is STARS members in Resident Evil. Hold on. STARS is a special tactics and rescue service in Resident Evil. It is an elite and privately funded special forces division in Raccoon City Police Department and formed in 1996. Comprised of ex-military and academic specialists, the term was designed to handle high-risk, unconventional crimes and terrorism, but was largely destroyed by the Arkley Mansion incident in the first game. Okay, so I'm going to take them as Green Berets. I'm going to take it as that. Okay. Oh, I forgot about the final S. Yeah, STARS is a special tactics and rescue. Okay. But yeah, they're like basically the best for you. Okay. So like they're hardcore. Jill was one of them. Okay.
And that there is a very likely chance that the 100,000 civilians are either going to end up dead or undead. However, if they can get the train system up and running, they could possibly save some survivors. He requests Jill's help, which she agrees to, but emphasizes that she is only doing this for the civilians, not UBCS. Jill heads back to the surface.
UBCS. What is UBCS in Resident Evil? I got it. UBCS is the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service. It is a private mercenary military force owned by Umbrella Corporation in Resident Evil. Primary featured in Resident Evil 3, founded by him. The group was deployed into the biohazard hotspots in Raccoon City. Got it. Okay.
Intending to bring power back onto the substation. We come across a UBCS member that has a serious leg injury. Jill attempts to stop the bleeding as the man assures her that he isn't infected. Another man enters the room and shoots the UBCS member in the head, killing him. It turns out that the person is also UBCS, and his name is Nikolai. He believes his team member was infected and disposed of him, preventing him from turning. This upsets Jill, since they had no way of knowing for sure if he was truly infected, but the man tells her that she needs to think of her own self-preservation over everything else, saying he didn't realize STAR members were so soft. Jill gets to the power station, and we get a very disgusting welcome from some of the local wildlife. Thankfully, we can deal with the whole parasite issue with some ground up herbs, but it's gross nonetheless. Jill gets the power station back online and starts to head towards the traffic control system to rearrange the train line to avoid damaged railways. As Jill leaves the power station, she gets a visit from a creature that we thought died earlier. After running a damn marathon, Jill reaches the traffic control system and plots out a train route around all the damaged lines before heading back to the subway station. She meets back up with Carlos and the other UBCS members. Nikolai believes that Jill is dead weight, since she couldn't pull the trigger on the wounded guy earlier, and warns Carlos from being around her since she might just get him killed. There is a loud smash upstairs, and the creature has shown up once again. Jill uses herself as bait to allow the UBCS members to begin evacuation safely.
Why? So that's why I didn't want to play her. I don't want to be bait.
As Jill's climbing out of the
I'm not a hero.
Oh
my god!
Nice enough to give her a hand getting up the ladder. Oh yeah, it turns out that he has a giant FU flamethrower. So unless Jill wants to be extra crispy, she needs to get the hell out of there. I just want to take a moment to throw some parallels from the second game. Resident Evil 2 had an entire sewer area. And also had an antagonist that follows you around everywhere and loves grabbing your face. I'm seeing some similarities, is all I'm saying. Jill begins climbing a construction area to try and get away from the creature, as he is setting the entire place on fire in the process. Jill reaches the rooftop.
I love to be playing a hot woman.
Boss fight. Jill blows up the giant gas tank on his back, which causes an explosion that forces her to jump off the roof. As you could probably imagine, it's not the most gracious fall, but she does get out of it alive. At least 5 broken ribs, but still breathing. Jill continues down the street and we find some familiar locations. For example, this gun store. If you remember from RE2, this is the place that Leon and Ada went through before entering the sewers to access Dr. Birkin's
No way he can follow you in the save room.
If we backtrack a little bit, we can find the RPD parking garage that both
So
Leon
Nemesis
and
just follows you
Claire
around with a
struggled to get
freaking
through.
flamethrower?
Now, you might be a little confused about the timeline.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Technically, the events happening now with Jill are slightly before the events that we see in RE2. And we will see why in a moment.
Okay.
When we enter the gun store, we find Kendo, the same guy that we saw in RE2. Jill knows the man and invites him to the subway for evacuation. He looks at the back door and says that it's not a great time and he'll catch up later. Due to RE2, we know that this is because his daughter is actually infected, but he doesn't tell this to Jill. As Jill leaves the gun store, the creature from the rooftop shows up again. I mean, I could have sworn we have killed him at least twice now, but he's still kicking. And this time he has a freaking rocket launcher. How he managed to get a giant flamethrower and now a rocket launcher is beyond me. Jill makes a run for it, and we end up at a nearby power station again. She gets blown onto the next street across, and she ends up near the toy store.
Dude.
And, I don't know. I guess
I feel like this whole game would make me feel like I'm being tortured.
The creature is not a fan of children's toys, as he blows the head off the whole building. Thankfully, Carlos is nearby and manages to get the creature,
Carlos,
which buys us enough
my
time
guy,
to get back inside the subway station. Carlos informs us that he will not be getting on the train.
So
as
Nemesis
he has been
isn't
tasked
Professor
with
X.
staying
Well, I
behind
guess
in
I'll
the
find
town
out,
to
right?
help other survivors. When we reach Victor, he tells Carlos and Tyrell to go back to Raccoon City and find Nathaniel Bard. Jill gets concerned that the train will only be doing one trip, leaving the others stranded. But Victor reassures her that they will do a return trip for more survivors. Victor and Nikolai speak about whether or not Nathaniel Bard is still alive, and Victor says that he has it on good authority. He then subtly calls out Nikolai for possibly getting multiple of his teammates killed by locking a gate that caused the squad to be killed by a zombie ambush. The lights turn off as the civilian carriage is obliterated by the creature. As Jill attempts to flee, we see Nikolai locking the carriage door, telling her that the creature is not after him, reminding her about his statement on self-preservation. The creature grabs Victor, and he uses a bomb at close range, presumably killing him and, let's be honest, most likely not
King
killing the
Wine
creature.
22
We jump over to
I
Carlos.
remember in the original Resident Evil 3, you could turn the volume low enough to have Nemesis say cars instead of stars.
He talks? He talks? When I think how really cool during Resident Evil 3, you can sometimes hear gunshots and screams in the distance, but in Resident Evil 2, it's silent. Oh my god.
Tyrell as they reach the outside of the Raccoon Police Department, the same area that Claire showed up near the back gate. They hear a commotion, and we see Marvin shooting Brad from earlier. When Marvin says sorry to Brad for having to put him down, we get a rare glimpse of a zombie Brad actually saying sorry back to him. This catches Marvin off guard, and
Oh my god. Oh no.
gets bitten on the stomach as a result, before fleeing inside the police station. This shows us exactly how Marvin came to get his stomach wound in RE2, and also that it was a STARS member, Brad, that gave it to him. Carlos then dispatches of Brad before entering the police station. Marvin is nowhere to be seen, as Tyrell checks the computer system to look for the STARS office, since they have information on Nathaniel Bard's whereabouts. Tyrell mentions that Bard knows Umbrella's darkest secrets, and that they are there to essentially silence him, which rubs Carlos the wrong way. Carlos heads through the police department as he hears screaming and shooting from the other side of the door.
Are we playing
We see two police officers getting completely
So we're playing Carlos at this point, I'm assuming.
wrecked. Interestingly, these two officers are seen in
It is,
RE2,
yeah.
and their bodies can be seen by Leon as he enters the...
Oh my god!
hallway for the first time. Carlos makes his way to the locker rooms on the
Can I,
third floor.
the more impressive thing for me is that the fact that some people were like, hey, we're going to write a really long story about this game, but we're going to have so many coincidental meanings to just like that. The fact that they planned it so far ahead is just impressive to me. That's it. It's impressive.
Or needs to blow open the wall to reach the barricaded hallway that leads to the STARS office. This is the same bathroom that Leon struggles to get through due to the broken pipeline, showing that the broken pipeline in RE2 was actually caused by Carlos. As a story enthusiast and a big fan of the Resident Evil games in general, it's pretty cool to see some
That
of
is
these throwbacks to
cool.
the previous game.
That is
giving
so
insight
cool.
on some things. Carlos reaches the office and sees a call from Nathaniel Bard on the computer. The convenience of this is
And that
not
was in
lost
that
on him.
room.
Bard tells Carlos that he has been trying to reach people for hours.
Leon, where's
he says
the
that he's trapped inside
hair
the hospital,
system?
surrounded by abominations. He asks Carlos to send in STARS as they'll know what to do, but Carlos mentions
Wait a minute.
to reach people for hours. He says that he's trapped inside the hospital, surrounded by abominations. He asks Carlos to send in STARS as they'll know what to do, but Carlos mentions that the RPD has also been overrun. Bard says to figure it out, that Umbrella's gone crazy, they're killing all the researchers, and that he is the only person capable of making a vaccine that can stop the zombie outbreak before hanging up on the call. Carlos tells Tyrell that they can't hand him over to the company since they're killing people to silence them. Tyrell says that it's not their call, and that the choice is up to Victor. Tyrell begins looking into the computer system to track the doctor's location, while Carlos takes a look around the office. We can find a piece of paper that discusses the events in the Arklay Mountains, when Bravo Team and Alpha Team were dispatched into the mansion. These are the events that took place during Resident Evil 1. He also finds a team photo of STARS of which he recognizes Jill. He then gets a call on the radio from Jill, telling him that the train has been derailed, and also telling him that Nikolai betrayed them. Carlos tells Tyrell that he needs to leave immediately. as we
Verdez,
cut
thanks
back
for
to
the
Jill
rock,
after the explosion
Cam.
on the train. This takes place a few minutes before the events in the STARS office with Carlos. Jill manages to get topside as the creature is heard screaming in the background. The fact that this thing is still alive after taking explosions after explosions is a miracle. We can see it getting toasty before falling into the water. Jill calls Carlos, and we now see the other side of the phone call from before. The creature does his best Jaws impression and jumps out at Jill, looking a lot more creature than it did before. This dude is mutating. We have another boss fight with this new form, which ends with us getting the best of him. As Jill goes to leave, he hits us with yet another Uno reverse card.
Oh my
since,
God.
Once again, he is still alive. It takes Jill closing the gate on his arm to get away, but he immediately grows that bad boy back and injects Jill before collapsing. This causes Jill to start coughing uncontrollably and falls to the ground before we can get this very creepy shot of Nikolai, watching Jill in pain. He says that Jill has done him a very big favour and she is literally foaming from the mouth. Bad times. We skip a half day later when Carlos manages to track down Jill. She has coughed out a lot of blood and he realises that she's been infected. He decides to take her to the hospital and hopes that Bard is able to save her. He leaves Jill on the hospital bed and tells her that he'll go get a vaccine. This place
Holy
is crawling
shit.
with zombies. And even things that remind me of Predator, but Carlos manages to reach
Oh my
Nathaniel
God.
Bard. We find him dead, shot between the eyes. We can find
Oh
a note on
my
his desk that
God.
is an invitation to a banquet by Police Chief Irons.
Hi.
This is the same guy that abducted Sherry in RE2, and was also in the pocket of Umbrella Corporation. On Nathaniel's computer, we can find an email to a Greg Tester. He is a senator that is close friends with Bard and Irons. Bard tells Tester that he has a vaccination for him since he believes that Tester is the future of the United States. But if he wants the vaccine, he needs to get him the hell out of Raccoon City, without Umbrella's knowledge. There is also a video that Bard recorded before his death. He says that he realizes that he won't make it out alive and wants
Holy
to reveal the
crap,
truth to
man.
everyone. He says that Raccoon City's suffering is due to the release of a biological weapon named the T-Virus. He says that Umbrella engineered the virus and ordered Bard's team to create a vaccine. They did. And he says that he has a single dose stored in his office while the rest of the vaccines are underground. But mentions that Umbrella is secretly trying to destroy all of the vaccinations to hide their involvement with the virus. He begins hearing a
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, because there's like a lot that is being said right now. Okay, so technically, Umbrella was just like a whole science, like it was like, think of like the FCC or the FDC. No, the federal, like the basically the whole commission thing with like all the medicines, right? The one that are like very they're trying to like make things better, and then some parts of Umbrella Corporation, yeah, the CDC, they're yes, y'all, yeah, you guys got it. So like they're basically like they're controlling like a lot of like the medicines that are going through, and then I guess they created the guy William, he created the virus, but okay, so before I get into that, he created the virus, but some of it, like some people don't want it to be like they're involved in Umbrella, but they did not want to be involved in that virus. Trying to be the biohazard weapons. They're trying to create the biohazard weapons, but they realized how bad it was. So they are the farm company with that dark secret. Got it. But STARS was originally created. No, sorry, not STARS. The UBCS. The UBCS was created after STARS was like let go. I'm assuming. Yeah? But the UBCS was supposed to help protect the whole Umbrella thing. But they're all trying to untangle everything, right? A private mercenary military force owned by the the Umbrella Corporation of Resident Evil, primarily in Resident Evil 3. Got it. Okay. Am I understanding that correctly? Yeah, they also made the health sprays. Really? What about the TME? Don't get me started with acronyms. I'm doing my best right now. There's a lot of terminology. I gotta like get a whole like writing journal. Like I'm taking all my notes.
in terms of the recording, presumably killed shortly after. Carlos retrieves the single vaccine and notifies Tyrell of the situation. He manages to make it back to Jill and administer the vaccination as Tyrell arrives a bit later. He turns on the television and a news report shows that the government have considered the outbreak in Raccoon City uncontainable, and the following morning will missile strike the city, completely destroying it and everyone inside. It urges anybody capable of rational thought to evacuate the city immediately. We begin hearing zombies outside, and Carlos has to hold out against the horde while Tyrell works on getting the window shutters down. Carlos blows down one of the supports that close up the door, and returns to the room. We can see that the vaccine is working on Jill, and Carlos tells Tyrell that he needs to leave and call the government.
Is he
in
love?
Jill wakes up a while later and hears about the missile strike on the television, now saying that they are only a few hours away until the missile will be launched, and that it is designed to eliminate all biological life in the city, reiterating that anybody still in the city will not survive. She sees Tyrell outside, and he tells her that Carlos saved her life. He also mentions that Carlos went after the vaccines underground and that he is trying to contact the government to stop the missile strike. Jill says to keep trying to contact them and she'll go down and help out Carlos. We get down into the facility and we can see Nikolai at the window, watching us before blowing out the lights. Jill manages
Pause.
we can see Nikolai and she'll go down
that
and
is
help out
so
Carlos.
fucking
We
creepy.
get down into the facility and we can see Nikolai at the window, watching us before blowing out the lights. Jill manages to get the power back on before reaching the room that he was in, but he has since left. On the computer, we find multiple pages documenting the creature's activities and the fights that were had against Jill. It seems that Umbrella has secretly been observing the creature and taking data from its behaviors and fights against a STARS member. This essentially shows why the creature has been targeting STARS members from the beginning, with little regard for anybody else. Umbrella are wanting combat data from capable and trained opponents. Tyrell arrives and says that he has managed to get through to the government and they are willing to negotiate. They will call off the missile strike if they receive the vaccination before the designated launch time, which is only a few hours away. They continue further into the facility before the creature shows up, once again. This thing might be the most persistent antagonist of any game ever. It turns Tyrell
That's
into
that's why I said, like, this guy is just like my freaking nemesis. And you guys are like, oh, wait, you don't even know about nemesis. Rennie! Hi, Rennie! Hi, Bilky! Mando, what about DW and SW? What? What? Girl, we're doing a whole synopsis of Resident Evil 3 so that I could prep for Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. Girl, the whole Resident Evil series is just... Mods, can we also give a shout out for Winnie? Please. Please. How are you, Pookie? In the OG 3 opening cutscenes, most of the UB... Oh, so that's why it was like so synopsis. Wait, oh my god. The moment where he was looking at the photo, I'm assuming that was supposed to be like, oh, wow, all of them are dead except for Jill. Am I assuming? Yes, I did. And stream crashed, but I did. I finished Leon's story, and then I watched Claire's story to like kind of get like just kind of fast track this, you know. I'm like 2 days behind, guys. I'm 2 days behind. I was supposed to finish Resident Evil technically yesterday, so we're kind of like we're kind of pushing this to go a little bit faster, you know. So we're looking at Nemesis. This guy's an asshole. I thought freaking Professor X was the asshole, you know. I thought he was annoying, but oh my god, I can't even imagine. Why is he so obsessed with her? You see all the UCBS in the Resident Evil 9 live action trailer. Really? Yeah, she kept... Okay, yeah, I did. I won't lie, I did. I was scared. But now I'm feeling a lot better. Now we're going to play Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. So I'll be downloading Resident Evil 4 tonight. So I'll be ready to go tomorrow. Huge. We're doing the remake tomorrow. So we're going back to the original. Remember, okay, so for anybody that wasn't here on Resident Evil 4 when I first played it, when the remake got launched, I played it for at least 2 hours and then I refunded it. Mainly because I was so mad at chat. I was so mad at it because everybody's like, Amanda, why were you doing that? I was so frustrated. And honestly, I shouldn't have jumped into Resident Evil 4 when I did not know anything. So I'm happy. Maybe it was a bliss, you know? I'm playing the remake. I'm playing the ones that are on my PlayStation. So just kind of keeping the whole remake story going. So hoping it will be better than what people are saying about Resident Evil 3. All right.
Skewer, as Jill is forced to try and lock it into the hallway. There are multiple notes found throughout the facility that essentially say that this particular Nest lab is focused on real-world uses for the T-virus, while also being responsible for vaccine production for Umbrella.
Now, chat's
Jill
been
finds a
very good
vaccine
on not spoiling
synthesizer,
it.
but requires components to make a vial. We come across these weird faceless creatures and see that Umbrella is making these things and shipping them around the country. Another note shows that the European branch shipped.
That's a great idea. That is such a good idea. They are totally doing everything in their power to make sure that they are the villain. And it clearly shows.
Over a specimen to the United States branch for testing. It went through numerous trials in Europe.
Dude,
and
you
was
know
found
what?
to be
I wouldn't be surprised if we are in a situation of a zombie apocalypse that there would be this kind of shit. There would be this kind of shit somewhere. You know? It would. It would. It would. Because someone just has to be all like, oh, wouldn't it be... What if I just... But what if I just... And we have Steve over here and wearing the Umbrella logo. Steve. Assassin, hi, welcome back. So you were here earlier, one of the first people in the stream. Sup? You got something to say, Steve?
incredibly destructive, so urged caution when using it. You might have guessed already, but the specimen mentioned is the big creature that's been following us around the whole time. The scenes at the beginning of the game were the European Umbrella creating the creature and shipping him to the US. Another thing worth mentioning is the fact that Chris Redfield...
Wait, hold on.
...to be incredibly destructive, so urged caution when using it. You might have guessed already, but the specimen mentioned is the big creature that's been following us around the whole time. The scenes at the beginning of the game were the European Umbrella creating the creature and shipping him to the US. Another...
Who is Europeans in the chat? Who is the Europeans in the chat? Who is the Europeans? If you're not American, I'm kidding. We have beef. I'm kidding. Or am I? They sent that thing to America. That makes a lot of sense, Twisted. Your mom, my mom's side comes from Mexico. So far from that. Definitely not there. My dad's side, though. Yeah, you're dead. There you go, you're dead.
thing worth mentioning is the fact that Chris Redfield,
frickin' Norwegians.
a STARS member, and was with Jill and the other STARS members in Resident Evil 1 at the mansion incident, and also the brother of Claire Redfield.
Pause. Oh wait, no. Back up. Okay. He's just okay. It's not actually part of the game. Okay.
With the European Umbrella creating the creature and shipping him to the US.
That's wild.
Another thing worth mentioning is the fact that Chris Redfield, a STARS member, and was with Jill and the other STARS members in Resident Evil 1 at the mansion incident, and also the brother of Claire Redfield from RE2 when she was looking for him. We found papers in RE2 showing that he went to Europe to try and deal with the European brand of Umbrella.
Oh, yeah, I remember because they were talking about like having women, seen all the women.
Corporation, the same one that is responsible for this creature. We find a note from Nathaniel Bard that congratulated Umbrella Europe for completing Nemesis, using a parasitic organism into a tyrant's brain to gain external control of it. If the name Tyrant rings a bell, it is the same type of creature that we saw in the lab in the Arklay Mountains laboratory. Another notable tyrant is Mr. X that chases Leon and Claire around RPD and RE2, which technically is happening at the same time as Nemesis.
Oh.
Jill manages to create a vaccine
Oh my god.
for the government
So technically I wasn't important enough to get Nemesis. Got it.
when Nemesis shows up once again. It
Oh,
gives Jill a few
shut
more
up.
broken ribs for good measure before she has to try and escape the facility. It
Bruh.
is, however, as persistent as ever, and causes Jill to fall and lose the vaccine. Nikolai shows up and takes the vaccine, telling Jill that he needs it more than the city because... money.
Okay, I hate. Because I see it and now I can't unsee it because it's been He looks like fucking... Am I allowed to say his name? Looks like Jeffrey Epstein. He looks like the villain. Can you guys see it? I'm like, I keep seeing this guy. EP? J-E? Wait, EP? What? J-E? I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name. I don't know. It's just, you know, the situation. But he's like, looks like him.
Telling Jill that he needs it more than the city because...
But like totally not talking about something. And bringing the vibes up. Literally. Sorry, I brought the vibes down. Also, this is so random. If you guys didn't know this, we're getting brand new emotes this week. And I'm so excited about it. Brand new emotes. Because I saw the VTuber and I was like, oh, that reminds me. Because my emotes is being made by a VTuber right now. So, wait, I didn't see it, but now I do. See? I think it's the hair and just the face. Man, Resident Evil called it. Will you be back to changing your profile? See, I don't know. Should I keep it? Here, if we hit the sub goal by the end of the day, well, I'll do cosplay tomorrow, but I'll keep it for, I don't know, another month. If not, I'll be changing it tonight. Ooh. It technically was supposed to be here for like 5 days. Till your birthday. Ooh, okay. I'll be down with that. Changing it till my birthday. Why does it scare you? It's literally me. Check. Jordan, is that your emote? It is. Did you animate that? Girl, that's impressive as flip. That's impressive.
money. Lots and lots of
Wait,
needs it
pause.
and lose the vaccine. Nikolai shows up and takes the vaccine.
That's
Telling Jill that he
amazing.
needs it more than the city because money. Lots and lots of sweet money. But promises to give it back if she can provide great combat data fighting Nemesis, and then he can sell it. While fighting, Carlos shows up and helps us out by giving us MLG level callouts. Not to mention a
MLG.
haymaker from the gods using the crane. I almost
Bruh.
expected a Mortal Kombat X-ray
He
vision.
doesn't.
So
And oh my
he turns on the acid and finally kills the creature after like 7 attempts now. Thank God for that. It was getting ridiculous the amount of times this thing came back to life.
Oh my
Jill
god.
tracks down Nikolai and tells him to give her the vaccine as he promised, and he says that Jill is like a money printer and he wants to keep on printing. Then an explosion happens, and
Oh, Nemesis.
I mean, really? So we fight Nemesis for what feels like the 30th goddamn time as Carlos chases down Nikolai. This time around, however, we have this enormous anime gun that makes me feel like I'm in freaking Transformers. We give him another one for good measure, turning him into mush, and I swear to God, this thing better be dead. I mean, I can see his goddamn ribcage and made a hole through half the city. Jill makes her way to the rooftops, and we find Carlos unconscious.
Good evening, Rico.
Nikolai ambushes Jill and shoots the vaccine as the loudspeakers notify the town that the missile has been launched. Meanwhile, the vaccine would have been useless anyway, since it was too late. Carlos gets up and saves Jill, giving her an opportunity to shoot him. Thankfully, Carlos is uninjured and they ask Nikolai why he did what he did. He says that there is a price tag for everything, including letting the world burn. He tells Jill that he will tell her who hired him and for what reason if she gets him out of here, even paying her whatever she wants. Jill begins walking away, and he tells her that if he dies, she will never know the truth. Jill tells him that she doesn't mind a little bit of detective work, before Carlos and her leave Nikolai behind in the helicopter. We can see the missile fly past them as it hits Raccoon City, completely obliterating the city. Jill says her final farewells to the city that she wanted to get away from forever. Some narration from Jill comes up, and she mentions that all the death has not been caused by some monster-making virus, but instead greed. Human greed was the real cause of it all. before saying that the ashes of Raccoon City will be the ashes of Umbrella Corporation. She swears to end them completely. And that is the story of Resident Evil 3. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you made it all the way through, comment down below the word
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Oh, shocker. Oh my god. Well, that sounds like I dodged a lot of work. I definitely did dodge a lot. I dodged a lot. Hey, how's it going? Going very, very good. How are you doing today? Oh my gosh. Well, if the monsters like that are roaming around, I would say the same let it burn. Literally. Same. Dodged 8 days of Resident Evil. I did. I did. So, Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. That was fun. I'm happy. I'm really happy. I'm very happy with finishing Leon's story. I'm shocked that I did, considering I suck at horror games. And I feel like if I keep this momentum going for Resident Evil 4 tomorrow, I feel like I'll be okay. Okay, guys, be honest with me. Rank Resident Evil 4 versus Resident Evil 2. Like, is it worse? Are you playing on PS Resident Evil 5? If not, highly recommend you look up Chris Redfield's design. Yes, I mean, depending on time-wise. Bro, what? No. Resident Evil 4 is nothing? Resident Evil 4 is the best in the series. Is it scary? I'm talking about scariness. It's comically fun. Ooh, I do like that. I do like that. It's not jump scary. Okay, I mean, all right, so you're saying like it has a good story compared to Resident Evil 2. 4 is way better. I'm excited. I'm excited. Then I'm excited for 4 tomorrow. And there is not things crawling around trying to eat your face. Well, I remember where I was at the beginning of the freaking story, where I was being chased by a shit ton of zombies. But let's see what's gonna happen. Oh, I assume Resident Evil. Okay, so this took place in 1996. Leon was 20. Leon is 20. 1996. So 20, well, I don't know when he is. He's 21. Okay, he's 21. And if the story of Resident Evil, someone said he's 50 in Resident Evil 9. I gotta play Resident Evil. Never have oops. No, it's fine because I haven't either. I technically play Biohazard, but I never finished it for obvious reasons. It was just too scary for me. Okay. So, Resident Evil 4 tomorrow! Yay! Huge, 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 huge. I'm so excited. So, anybody that's been watching, I appreciate you guys dealing with all my scares and my screaming, because that's all I do whenever I play scary games. I want to do like a compilation of me playing Resident Evil 2. That would be fun. That would be fun. I'll do a compilation of it. Probably post it on YouTube, and then I'll make a reel out of it. Okay, I think that ends today's stream. I'll just end Kick. Wait, actually, we got homies over there. We do got homies over there. Okay, let me see who I can raid today. I don't normally stream this late. What time is it? Holy 9. It's holy 9 o'clock. Shut up. Oh my god. Well, let's keep the freaking horror momentum going. We're gonna raid out to Dream. Dream's doing horror. Surprise. I'm gonna end it over on the other socials. I'm just gonna end it there. So thank you so much for all watching. If you guys haven't checked out my YouTube channel, I just uploaded my my reaction to watching the State of Play. So if you want to check that out, it's over on live on my YouTube channel. So that's new. And Thor, coming in so late. Coming in so late. But we're going to be watching, we're going to be playing Resident Evil 4 tomorrow starting at 2. So be there, be square. If not, just watch the VODs over on YouTube or here. But thank you guys all for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow. New game tomorrow. Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the fun. See you tomorrow. I can't wait to see you run in Vegas very soon. I can't believe it. It's so soon too. Good night, Steve. Good night, Jordan. Good night, Jules. Good night, Dove. It was nice seeing you. Good night, Winter. Good night, Phantom Brian. Good night, Twisted. Good night, James. It was nice seeing you. Good night. Brand new phone. Let's go. Brand new phone. Huge. By M. It was nice seeing you. Huge game tomorrow. Huge game tomorrow. By a drizzle. By OV. By coffee. By mug cup. Thank you everybody for hanging out. You guys are awesome. Say good night and say hello to Dream. He's chaotic. You'll love him. Okay. Bye bye.